And whiplash, we have a frame built. I decided to go about it this way because I don't need to teach you how to cut wood. So I'm going to go over what I did here so you can see exactly how you build the frame for this treasure chest. So now, the first thing you need to realize is that all of these angles you're going to be doing on the bottom. There's a picture down below in the description with, all these measurements that you need to do. But you have to realize that this is going to be all 10-degree angles, how you cut it all together. The front is tapered, but the sides, I was tempted to taper them, but I decided to not in the end. So the ends are square. Now, what you need to do is you need to put in some extra infrastructure for things as you go along. This here is, let's go to the other side, where the light will be a bit better. Okay, this here is going to be the crossbar to attach some rope to for handles, or if you actually have handles, you can do that. This is all stapled and glued. You can screw this together if you're worried about strength, but this here and this one down at the bottom in here keeps it all together because it's wide enough to take 2 screws. All these other ones, these are either single screws or no screws. Now, the top here, these are all, once again, down below you will find the link with all this stuff in. You kind of have to know a bit about woodworking to pull this one off, or use thick styrofoam and just glue it together. It's an option, but I wanted this to be a bit more nice, and yeah, but anyways. So here we go. On the top, these are 3 1/8 inch at a 9-degree angle. Very important because when you do 10 of them, you end up with 90 degrees, but there's actually 20 of them because each of these is 2. Thus, you end up with 180. Same with these, and these are 9 degrees. This allows you to get everything to work together and form this beautiful arch. Now, could I cut this out of a piece of wood? No, because these are all going to be slats. So the styrofoam that we put on here is going to go straight across, cut at an angle once again. You can see the bottom one here is also cut at an angle on both sides. This allows it, there we go, this allows it to sit square and allows all the slats to line up and make this thing look really good when we're all done. So these here are just junk lumber that are about 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. The purpose of these is so when you put the styrofoam on, it has something to back up against. So you're not just having like a 37-inch free span of 1-inch styrofoam. This is just extra support. And when you look at this, you'd say, gosh, that is a heck of a lot of support that you put onto there, specifically for a styrofoam box. But in reality, once you get to this point here, you can actually go and do pallet wood on this. You can do plywood. It's up to you on what your actual finish is. I'm doing styrofoam because I like the way it works, but I had to make sure that I had extra supports in here and here to hold it all together. My front, so I lined it up. Now, the one last thing we're going to talk about is on the front here. You'll see I've got a piece of foam in there. That's just I think that's 1/4 inch EVA, because when I finish this up, that EVA is going to have to be here. So, and you can see one at the back as well. And the reason I've done this is if you come around here, I needed it for positioning the hinges. So I needed to make sure that I had that space for that foam. So when my hinges get attached, like here, and that's what these 2 vertical beams are for, is to hold the hinges to give them something to bind onto. And then after that, everything goes together. So I'm going to go start cutting down some styrofoam, but I'll be a bit more descriptive about that part. I'll be back. We move on to the styrofoam part of this fun project. So you can see here that I've got these indents in here, and this was done with a wire brush on my drill. Normally I would use a rotary Dremel to do this, but the fact is I kind of like how more natural these ones look. And it's a bit of a rodeo when you're trying to hold with one hand and have that thing bounce around. It makes it look more natural. Then the next thing you do is using your wire brush, doing full length pulls, you knock this texture into the actual styrofoam. You can go as deep or as little. The deeper you go, the more aged it'll look. The lesser you go, the less aged it'll look. Pretty straightforward. Now, to get the size of these right, all I did is I laid down my chest on top of the styrofoam and added 1 inch to each side to allow for this side here to fit on the inside edge of here. So when this comes up, I can't do it with one hand, so you're just gonna have to believe me. Anyways, after this, all you do is you seal it with the heat gun to bring up the texture a little bit, and then we're gonna go about attaching it. Anyways, I'll be back. We continue, and what we have here is 36 pieces of styrofoam, each that have been cut at 9 degrees on either side. Watch, I pick up the one that does not have the 9-degree cut. You need to do this for 8 of them, and then for 2 of them, you're going to just do it flat on one side. The reason is the way the hinges are set up on the chest, you're going to need to have some room, so you might have to modify one of these just slightly to make it so it has the room for the hinged top to slide. Now, you have to realize that when you do these, this bottom here has to be 3/8 of an inch. I will get an exact measurement. I'll put it in the description of what the top of these are. Actually, I'll put it in my final drawing what the top of these are supposed to be, because what happens now is as we take this, we bring it on over and see all my children's lovely artwork, and it goes onto the chest like so. And what happens is it carries through the line of the pieces that we've done before to attach. That way all of these staves on the top interlock with each other. So what I'm going to be doing next is, actually, I'm going to put that down there and say how I did this wood texture is pretty much just brown paint, wash, some dry brushing, and then a final oil texture, an oil stain. There's a video up here I did last week talking about exactly how to do the painting on this, so I'm not going to go over it in full detail now. Our first stage of assembly is going to be getting these end caps onto the chest, which is here. Once these are on, the next part is going to be these going on over the top, using screws on the sides because it can be hidden by the trim, and some urethane glue to hold it all together. Anyways, I'm going to start putting that together. I'll come back. If I encounter any problems, I'll let you know as I do it, because of course, when you see these videos, this is the first time I built this. Anyways, I'll be back. As you can see, everything is on. All the wood went on really cleanly. The urethane glue holds this on beautifully. You can see here that the hinge opens up beautifully, and these bars on the back really support the inside of those wooden strips nicely. I don't think I'm going to do anything else with the inside. I like the way it looks, and most of the time I want this chest to be open only to about there, so you're not going to see the lid as much as you would normally. Now, on the inside here, you can see I did a rim. That is 3-inch thick styrofoam, and it's just to allow for when we go to put in the insert with all the treasure in, you're going to see a little bit of wood on the inside, and that's what that is. It's just to make it so it doesn't look like it just ends. So that's where we are there. Now, just a quick note here. On the back, you see here, the hinges are hiding deep inside of here. I'm going to do a treatment to make this hinges look nice here with EVA foam. But if you look carefully, you will see that these are cut at about a 45-degree angle both ways. And what that allows for is when it opens up, let me see if I can get this one-handed, there we go. It allows that room to hinge, and it allows it to stop as well. So you can do this. I'm going to be putting in a cable here to here to make sure this doesn't go further than what it should, but that's always just a nice kind of like a safety feature. Anyways, I'm going to start working on the EVA trim, and I'll talk about it as we go, but as you can see, it's turning out pretty nice. I've decided to wrap this video up at this point on the chest and continue on with a new video for the EVA foam, mainly because I don't want this to be a 45-minute video. Regardless, thanks for hanging around, and I hope you enjoying what you're seeing. This is a big project, and it's been a bit overwhelming. The amount of work that's going into this is surprising even me. Regardless, if you liked it, please remember to hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe. It's always appreciated. But regardless, stay tuned for part 2 where we start getting all the EVA foam on it and continuing on. Regardless, have a good one.